Chapter 1, 148, 7th year, the final. Oh fuck, oh buggering hell. How on earth had this happened? How had he let it get this far? Remus's mouth was dry, his palms damp, and the less said about his insides the better. He wished he had Sirius nearby, or even James, to help him calm down. But no one could help him now. He was on his own. McGonagall turned to him.
Ready, Mr. Lupin?
He swallowed, hard, and nodded. Time to bite the bullet. Fuck's sake. This was all Christopher's fault. The whole mess had started 4 days earlier. The Marauders were in the library studying for their very last exam, arithmancy. Well, Peter didn't take arithmancy, but he was there anyway, ostensibly for moral support, but mostly to provide sustenance. He'd been a godsend to Remus in particular, making hourly trips down to the kitchens and back with cauldron cakes, pasties, bacon butties, and jam tarts.
It's 11:30.
Sirius yawned.
Come on. I don't think my brain can absorb any more knowledge tonight.
I didn't think your brain ever absorbed any... Ow!
James winced as Sirius kicked him under the table.
Come on,
he repeated.
It'll be curfew soon anyway.
We're with the head boy. I don't think curfew matters.
Remus replied, scribbling as fast as his quill would let him. But James had caught Sirius's yawn. He removed his glasses and rubbed his eyes, leaning away from the desk.
Nah, Padfoot's right. We've been here hours. Let's call it quits and have a refresher session tomorrow.
Peter was looking at Remus hopefully, clearly bored out of his mind. Remus frowned at all of them.
You lot go if you want, but I'll kick myself if I waste any time on this. It's our last exam.
You're hardly wasting time,
Sirius said.
You've been in the library so much this term they're considering putting up a plaque in your honor.
It's necessary,
Remus said.
I want to beat Snape.
And you will,
Sirius soothed.
Come on. You're getting black rings under your eyes.
Oh no,
Remus sighed sarcastically, packing away his papers.
My roguish good looks ruined.
Shut up, you handsome prick.
Sirius elbowed him lightly. They gathered the rest of their books, cleaned up the crumbs as best they could, and headed for the library exit. There were still plenty of students studying, all in varying states of distress.
I can't wait for it all to be over,
Peter whispered.
Imagine. No more homework, forever.
Remus must have looked stricken at this because Sirius barked with laughter and threw an arm around his shoulders. That was a brotherly gesture, Remus decided, so he permitted it in public.
You'll still have deadlines,
James mused, yawning again as they entered the dimly lit castle corridors.
if you want to do ministry work. Dad complains about them all the time.
Doubt I'll ever be as important as your dad.
Peter replied, shoving his hands in his pockets.
How are the applications going, anyway?
James asked him.
Oh, all right. Mum says my stepdad might be able to put in a good word, you know, in case I don't hear back from anywhere.
It won't be because of you, Wormy,
James said.
They're making cuts everywhere because of the war. Things are hard all over.
Not for Quidditch players,
Peter muttered. Sirius shook his head disapprovingly, but said nothing.
I'm not going to be a Quidditch player,
James said, lightly.
Not until the war's won.
The unspoken thing here, Remus thought, was the fact that James didn't actually need a job, war or no war, talent or no talent. It was the same for Sirius, who was so wealthy he never talked about money at all. Though he didn't agree with the bitterness, Remus sympathised with Peter on this. The Pettigrews were firmly middle class, and while he would always have a comfortable enough life, he'd be expected to start making money as soon as possible. Whereas Remus, who was barely working class even on a good day, he was interrupted from his thoughts by an odd noise up ahead and stopped in his tracks. The others stopped too.
What's wrong?
Sirius asked.
Forget something?
Remus shook his head, listening. He whispered to his friends.
There's someone around the corner.
He could hear them breathing, but they weren't moving, neither coming nor going, which was extremely suspicious, given the time of night.
Filch?
James whispered. Remus shook his head.
I think it's...
He strode ahead, turning the corner.
Chris.
Oh, hello, Remus.
Christopher smiled at him dazedly. He wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there, leaning against the wall, staring into space.
Are you okay?
Oh, yes.
The younger boy nodded again, emphatically.
Very well, thanks. Very good. Very fine indeed.
Is he stoned?
Sirius was already at Remus's side and was surveying Chris with thinly disguised amusement.
I don't think so.
Remus frowned. He reached out and touched Chris's arm, gently, speaking slowly.
Christopher. What are you doing? It's almost curfew. Are you on patrol?
Patrol?
Christopher stared at him blankly before blinking, then nodding again, grinning.
Yes, that must be it.
He's confounded,
James said.
Christopher, has anyone cast a spell on you tonight, or near you, and it backfired?
Maybe he did it to himself.
Wormtail suggested.
I did that once, remember?
No, Chris wouldn't try to confound someone.
Remus shook his head.
Chris, who was the last person you saw?
Was it you?
No.
Remus put his hands on Christopher's shoulders, meeting his eyes and trying to hold his attention.
No, not me. Concentrate. Before I got here, what were you doing?
Was I patrolling?
No, I mean... Oh, come on, let's go back to the tower, eh?
Remus kept his hand on Christopher's shoulder and began gently but firmly steering him up the corridor, throwing anxious looks at the others.
Should we tell someone?
Sirius asked James.
Or, I don't know, take him to Madame Pomfrey?
I'm not ill.
Christopher piped up chirpily. James ran his hands through his hair, shrugging.
I don't know. We'll ask Lily. She'll know what to do.
Lily did not know what to do. She stood with a hand on her hip and a sceptical look on her face, and asked him a few questions, but was as stumped as the rest of them. He sat before her, quite happily, in an armchair, smiling back up at her. He didn't seem to mind the interrogation, and while he couldn't give them any real information, he answered everything with cheerful, blank politeness. Giving up, Lily clicked her tongue.
I mean, he looks okay, and he doesn't seem upset. Christopher, did you get into a fight with someone? An argument?
I don't think so.
Christopher said thoughtfully, his voice thick and dreamy. He yawned.
I think I'll go to bed, if that's all right with you lot.
Remus, James and Lily all looked at each other helplessly. Then Lily turned to James.
Take him up, will you? Just make sure he doesn't get lost on the way.
James nodded, happy to be able to take action, and slapped Christopher on the back.
Come on then, mate. Let's get you to your dorm.
Lily, Remus, Sirius and Peter watched them vanish up the staircase.
Weird,
Lily said.
And no one else was around?
Not that I saw,
Remus said.
but God knows how long he was standing there.
Well, he was on the rota for patrol this evening,
she said, pulling out her little leather-bound organiser to check.
I always tell the prefects to go round in pairs, though, so he shouldn't have been alone. He's usually so reliable. I'll talk to him in the morning. Maybe he'll be a bit sharper then.
Doesn't look like he came to any harm.
Peter said, offhandedly, flicking through an old copy of Quidditch Weekly.
Maybe he was drunk, or stoned, or whatever, and he's just trying to cover his tracks.
Remus disagreed. It was too wildly out of character. But then, he hadn't seen much of Chris lately. They'd both been so busy. He remembered bumping into the younger boy in Hogsmeade a while ago. He'd been acting strangely then too, but Remus had just assumed he was meeting someone and didn't want Remus to know who, and if anyone respected other people's privacy, it was Remus. James returned, saying Chris had seemed fine once he was in his bedroom, and they didn't talk about it much for the rest of the evening. Just one of those things. In a school full of adolescents learning to use magic, it wasn't entirely out of the ordinary for accidents to happen. Talk soon turned to the upcoming Gryffindor versus Slytherin Quidditch match, the final match of the year, and the final game of James and Sirius's school careers. Remus zoned out a bit, letting his three friends work themselves up about it. Secretly, he couldn't wait for it to be done with. As much as it made them all happy, and as much as he wanted Gryffindor to win, it wasn't half boring to listen to all the time. He picked up his arithmancy book and returned to his revision, settling into the comfiest armchair.
Mooney, come on, bedtime.
Sirius woke him half an hour later. Damn. Remus blinked, blearily, looking down at his textbook. He'd barely got past the first paragraph before falling asleep, his quill still poised between his fingers.
Bollocks,
he muttered, closing the book and stretching. Sirius chuckled.
Told you that was enough for one day.
Remus just yawned at him, getting up. The common room had cleared out almost completely now, except for James and Lily, who were saying goodnight on the couch. That usually took a while, so the other three Marauders left them to it, climbing the stairs to bed. The next morning, Remus was awoken by Sirius, or rather, the absence of Sirius. He was just crawling out of bed and trying to be sneaky about it.
Stay.
Remus reached for him sleepily, trying to pull him back. His hands ran over the skin of Sirius's upper arms. Sirius had fantastic skin. It was so smooth and unblemished everywhere except for the backs of his legs. He kept talking about wanting tattoos, a thought which horrified Remus.
Sorry, Mooney.
Sirius grinned, gently untangling himself.
Big game in 2 days. Got to practice.
What time is it?
Just gone 5.
Ugh.
Remus flopped back down on the bed, throwing the blankets over his head.
You're all mental.
Yep.
Sirius laughed.
Go back to sleep. I'll see you later.
He left carefully, closing the curtains behind him. Remus rolled into the warm hollow Sirius's body had left behind, inhaled the scent on his pillow, and drifted back to sleep. He woke up just in time to catch the last of breakfast, and then returned to the library where he met Lily for more arithmancy study.
I'm so tired of numbers.
Lily groaned, rubbing her eyes. They were a few hours in, and it would be lunch soon.
I'm going to miss it.
Remus replied,
I like the charts. They're relaxing.
Well, I'm just glad there's nothing like this in potions.
James said you were looking into a job in an apothecary.
Maybe.
Lily shrugged.
I'd like to do something like that. Maybe research for St. Mungo's. Slughorn offered to write recommendations for me. But things will be complicated for a while, I think. James is optimistic, but...
Yeah.
Remus nodded.
We'll just have to see.
Shall we go down for lunch?
She closed her book, brushing her hair over one shoulder.
The boys will be finished soon. We can meet them.
Remus's stomach growled, and he gave in.
Go on then.
Just as they were getting up to go, the library doors swung open, and Madame Pint screeched,
No running!
Lily, Remus, I need your help.
Christopher came charging up to them so fast his legs hit their desk, banging all the books forward.
What's wrong?
Lily asked, her emerald eyes wide.
I can't explain. You just need to see...
See what?
Remus asked, reordering his book pile.
I've done something stupid. Please, just come now.
Chris pleaded. His face was red and shiny from running, and while he was definitely looking more alert than he had the evening before, he was clearly genuinely upset by something. So they went. He led them to the charms corridor, and the whole way there kept babbling about how it had been an accident and how he hadn't meant it to happen. Lily kept trying to get some sense out of him, but he wouldn't give them so much as a hint. Finally, he stood before the closed charms classroom door. Professor Flitwick really ought to start locking it, Remus thought to himself, as Christopher faced them, pale and trembling. He fidgeted with the sleeves of his robes, looking down.
Okay, please don't panic. It was an accident.
Christopher, just show us, will you?
Snapped Lily, tapping her foot on the flagstone floor. Christopher jumped at her authoritative tone, usually reserved for students who were misbehaving, but he took a deep breath and pushed the door open, ushering them in and slamming it shut behind them.
What on earth?
Lily breathed when they saw it. What stood before them was an enormous, quivering, glistening blue jelly. It was easily the size of Flitwick's desk, and just stood there in the middle of the classroom, translucent and wobbling. Remus stifled a laugh. In 7 years at Hogwarts, this was definitely one of the most ridiculous things he's ever seen. Christopher hung his head.
He attacked me. It was self-defense.
Remus stopped laughing and looked again.
That's a person. Chris, what the fuck?
Remus, language.
Lily elbowed him.
Christopher, who is that?
It's Roy, Gilderoy.
Lockhart.
Am I going to get in trouble?
Chris blinked at them both, his brown eyes huge and frightened.
How did you...
Lily gaped.
It was a jelly-legs jinx. I just expanded on it a bit. Remus taught me.
Lily glared at Remus, who held his hands up.
James taught me, and it never had that result.
But why did you do it, Chris?
Lily asked, still staring.
He was going to confound me again.
Wait, what? It was Lockhart.
Christopher nodded, shrinking from Lily's temper. He was embarrassed, Remus could tell. He looked at his feet.
He did it the other day, but it backfired. I think I tried to dodge it. Maybe he's done it before, I don't know.
But why?
He was worried I was going to tell...
Tell what? Christopher, for goodness sake.
Lily folded her arms angrily, Remus felt a stab of sympathy as Chris's cheeks turned a deeper shade of red.
Look, Lily, it doesn't matter now, does it?
He said, turning to her to try and shift focus away from Christopher.
We ought to get Lockhart looked at first.
He wasn't sure how he managed it, but in the end, he convinced Lily to go and get Madame Pomfrey, while he and Christopher waited with the jellified Lockhart. Once she'd gone, Christopher seemed to become even more anxious.
I'm going to get expelled.
No, you're not.
Remus leaned against the wall casually, pulling out his cigarette case. He offered one to Chris, who shook his head, fidgeting and worrying the cuffs of his sleeves.
James and Sirius have done worse than this.
I've never even had a detention before.
Seriously?
Remus raised his eyebrows as he lit his fag.
Well, it's not that bad. You'll survive. So, do you want to tell me what's been going on?
Christopher looked at him, his cheeks darkening again.
It was just...
I'm guessing this is who you were meeting in Hogsmeade that time.
Remus prompted, trying to make it easier. Chris looked at his feet again and nodded.
Okay.
Remus exhaled smoke. He was surprised, obviously, and more than intrigued, but he had to try not to show it if he was going to get any more out of Chris.
So you met up a few times?
Another nod.
And then?
Remus tried to piece it together.
Something went wrong. You had a fight.
Sort of,
God, this was excruciating.
Look, Chris, I don't care, okay? He's a prat who had it coming to him either way, and if you and he... Well, it doesn't matter, does it?
I don't want you to think I'm stupid or naive or something. I didn't even fancy him that much. I swear it was just kissing, and I just... You know, he showed an interest, and I thought, well, this might be my only chance.
Oh.
Remus's heart went out to him. He touched his shoulder, gripping it in what he hoped was a comforting gesture.
Of course it's not your only chance. People don't get just one chance.
Well, whatever,
Chris said, looking at the space just over Remus's shoulder, but deliberately not at Remus.
I suppose it has a lot to do with luck. Anyway, he was a prick. Turned out all he really wanted was to find out about the prank thing. He thought you and I were... He thought I could give him inside information.
Well, you could.
Remus replied.
You did half the working out with me. You know more than Sirius knows.
I didn't,
Chris said.
I didn't tell him anything.
Good. Knew you wouldn't.
Chris smiled at that and met Remus's eye properly for the first time.
I told him to keep his nose out. He got annoyed and called me something horrible. Then I got angry, and I told him I was going to tell everyone what we'd been up to, and he must have panicked.
Chris sighed heavily.
I wouldn't have said anything, I swear. I wouldn't be that nasty. I was angry, that's all.
I know, mate,
Remus reassured him.
So he tried to confound you so you wouldn't tell anyone.
Chris nodded.
All I can think is that I must have tried to deflect it somehow, which weakened it. Probably why I was acting so strangely yesterday.
And this...
Remus gestured at the Lockhart jelly.
When I woke up this morning, a bit more of my memory had come back. I realized what he'd done and came to confront him. I lost my temper a bit.
Well...
Remus snubbed out his cigarette.
I'm not going to have a go at you for that.
Lily was another matter. She returned with Madame Pomfrey and Professor McGonagall. By then, Remus had already decided what he was going to do.
Will one of you boys please explain what happened here?
Their head of year said, her eyes silvery and sharp. Remus was slightly taller than her now, but somehow McGonagall always seemed larger than life, especially when she was about to tell you off.
No idea,
Remus said promptly, ignoring Lily's look of horror behind McGonagall's shoulder.
Chris just found him like this, didn't you, Chris?
Christopher looked desperately at Remus, then McGonagall, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. Finally, he just nodded.
Really, Mr. Lupin?
McGonagall raised one dark eyebrow.
Yep.
He nodded, hands in his pockets, trying to look casual.
Mr. Barley simply happened upon Mr. Lockhart already in this.
She gestured at the enormous jelly, which Madame Pomfrey was now circling, slowly, muttering under her breath.
Altered state?
Yep.
Remus nodded, firmly. He'd have liked another fag, but wasn't that brazen.
Then please explain.
McGonagall's lips curled at the corners.
How Mr. Barley knew that this was Mr. Lockhart at all?
Remus glanced back at the big blue blob.
Well, looks like him, doesn't it?
This won't take long, Minerva.
Madam Pumphrey said cheerfully.
No long-term harm done, but he'll be out of action for a few days.
She began waving her wand and murmuring incantations.
I take attacks on students very seriously, nonetheless,
McGonagall replied.
1 week's detention, Mr. Barley, and as for you, Mr. Lupin, as this is your last month at school, I don't see that detention will be very effective.
This was not a relief to Remus. She was still smiling, which meant she knew exactly how best to punish him, and he wasn't going to like it.
Give me detention if you want,
he said quickly. McGonagall chuckled, shaking her head.
No, I think I have just the thing. With Mr. Lockhart out of commission, I believe we have a vacancy for Quidditch commentator.
Remus practically felt the colour drain out of his face. The woman was clearly an evil mastermind. Anything but that. Over McGonagall's shoulder, Lily grinned. James and Sirius thought the whole thing was hilarious, of course, after they'd finished cursing Lockhart's name. They loved the idea of Remus, who knew about as much about Quidditch as he knew about football or quantum physics, having to commentate their final match.
I just won't do it,
Remus kept saying.
I'll just sit there with my mouth shut. There's nothing they can do.
Don't be ridiculous.
Sirius nudged him.
You need to sing our praises.
It's really just about following the quaffle,
James said.
If you can keep your eye on that, you'll be fine.
Oi, spare a thought for the beaters,
Marlene called.
And the keeper,
Yasmin added. Peter was less encouraging and spent the rest of the evening sulking in the corner, brooding over his chess set.
I'm sorry, Pete.
Remus tried him after hours of silent treatment.
I know you'd have liked to do it, but remember this is a punishment for me.
I'd have been really good at it too.
Peter muttered, arms folded tight over his chest.
I know everything about the team. You haven't even watched any of the practices.
I know, you'd have been amazing,
Remus assured him.
Will you help me?
Help.
Peter looked up cautiously.
Help how?
Get me up to speed.
Remus encouraged.
Give me your notes for once.
Yeah, I suppose I could do that.
I'll even ask McGonagall if you can sit with me in the commentator's box.
Remus said.
So if I balls it up, then you can set me right again.
Okay.
Peter nodded, enthusiastic now.
Yeah, you'll need to know loads. I'll start right now, Moony. I won't let you down.
In the end, Peter produced more notes on the 1978 Gryffindor versus Slytherin final than he had ever written for any of his lessons. There were reams and reams of parchment with labelled diagrams, lists of players and their numbers, flying formations, and a detailed explanation of what seemed to be the Quidditch equivalent of the offside rule. He'd even written a little script of phrases Remus could use if he got stuck. So, even after Remus's arithmancy exam was over, he was pretty confident he'd done a perfect job on that. It had been a piece of cake. He now had another test to study for. Still, nothing could prepare him for how it felt now, sitting in a tower high above the pitch, a seat of red and green robed students beneath him, waiting for him to speak. He felt queasy and wished he hadn't eaten such a large breakfast. He'd also had a shot of fire whiskey, courtesy of James, and half a joint with Mary before the game started, hoping that might calm his nerves. Unfortunately, it seemed to have had the opposite effect, and Sirius's extremely unhelpful advice to picture everyone in their underwear had got stuck in his head, so now Remus didn't know where to look.
Mr. Lupin,
McGonagall said again.
Are you ready?
Remus looked down at Peter's notes, shuffling them. He swallowed and nodded. Peter had very neat handwriting, nice and round, but Remus's head was a bit foggy now. The whiskey had sharpened him up at first, but that combined with the spliff was making him feel a bit dopey and warm. He pinched the inside of his wrist for some clarity.
Mr. Lupin,
McGonagall whispered, pushing the microphone towards him.
The players are on the pitch.
Oh, sorry.
He blinked, startled, peering down at the grass below and clearing his throat. He read carefully from the parchment in front of him.
Hello. Welcome everyone to the Hogwarts Quidditch Cup Final, 1978.
His voice sounded weird, echoing out across the oval stadium, but he could hear cheers go up as he spoke, which gave him a bit of courage. He glanced at McGonagall, who smiled and nodded encouragingly. Remus returned his focus to the ground below and tried to give a bit of commentary.
Right, so, here we go. The teams are on the pitch. That's Gryffindor in red, Captain James Potter, and Slytherin in green, Captain Carenza Smythe. Not a lot to say, really, until they're all up.
He looked down at Peter's notes again. Introduce players and their strengths.
Oh, okay, so the players. Well, obviously James. He's the chaser. He's pretty good, I'm told. He's the one who told me.
A smatter of laughter from the crowd. Remus grinned, then swallowed again, and continued.
Gryffindor keeper, Yasmin Patel. Also very good, I suppose. As far as I know, I'm no expert. Sirius Black and Marlene McKinnon. Beaters. Good beaters. The whole team's really good. Let's just say that.
He heard Peter groan, sitting behind him, and a titter of laughter from the crowd. McGonagall was giving him a cynical look, but all he could do was shrug helplessly at her and list off the Slytherin players with equal ineptitude. He did, however, take great pleasure in announcing Slytherin seeker Reggie Black. He was sure he saw Regulus's shoulders cringe at that.
Oh, great. Looks like they're about to start.
Remus continued, settling into it now.
Yep, there goes the whistle. And, no surprises here, Potter is in possession of the quaffle. Blimey, he's fast. Look at him go. And it's a goal. 10-0 to Gryffindor. Nice one, Prongs.
The crowd cheered, and James zoomed across the pitch, arms raised high in victory. He threw a thumbs up at Remus as he flew past the commentator's tower, then high-fived Sirius mid-air before returning his focus to the game. This wasn't so bad, Remus thought. All he really had to do was watch what happened and then just say it out loud. An idiot could do it.
Slytherin now in possession of the quaffle. I think it's Timothy Bulstrode. Yep, okay. Not as fast as James, is he? Never mind, he's nearly there. No, blocked by a bludger there from McKinnon. Well done, Marlene. That looked like it hurt.
Mr. Lupin, a little less bias, if you please.
Sorry, Professor. Okay, so Potter back in possession. He passes Ito to Eriksson. Eriksson's really flying. She's almost... Oh, bugger. Slytherin back in possession.
Language, Mr. Lupin.
Sorry, Bulstrode heading for the goalposts now. Oh, come on, even I'm faster than that. He shoots, and, blocked by Gryffindor keeper Patel. See, told you she was good.
Cheers went up from one side of the crowd, boos from another. Yaz did a victory loop, beaming, and Sirius flew past the commentator's box, grinning at Remus as he did so. Remus had to admit, Quidditch was more exciting than he remembered.
Eriksson back in possession of the quaffle now, passes it to Potter. Potter's charging up the pitch. See, Bulstrode, that's how you bloody fly. Sorry, Professor. Goal, 20-0 to Gryffindor.
Regulus.
Peter squeaked behind Remus, his finger pointing over Remus's shoulder at the green-robed younger black brother, who was now flying very fast indeed, a look of concentration on his face as he zoomed towards an empty square of sky.
Looks like Slytherin seeker Black might have seen the snitch,
Remus said, hurriedly into the microphone, hoping that the Gryffindor seeker was listening.
Yep, he's definitely seen something. He's speeding up. He's... bad luck. Blocked by a bludger there from Gryffindor beater, Black.
Remus grinned, and could have sworn Sirius threw him a wink from across the pitch. Regulus, who'd had to break and dive very suddenly, looked furious, as did the rest of the Slytherin team. Things turned quite nasty after that, both in the game and Remus's commentary.
Eriksson has the quaffle again. Is she going to pass to Potter? No. Looks like she's going to try for a goal herself. Come on, Eriksson. Oh, phoo. Flipping hell. That was uncalled for. Eriksson, hit by a bludger from Avery, Slytherin, and not, now has possession. Eriksson looks dazed. Is she? No, that's a thumbs up. Good girl.
Mr. Lupin, the match, if you please.
Right, so Not has the quaffle. He shoots. 10 points to Slytherin, but it's still Gryffindor's game. Potter has the quaffle. He's flying. He's nearly there. He's... Shit. Watch out, James.
Carenza Smythe, the Slytherin beater, was flying at full speed directly into James's side and was knocked out of the way in the last few seconds by Marlene, who full-body slammed right into the Slytherin captain.
Bloody hell,
Remus yelled.
Nicely done, McKinnon. That girl is brutal. Oh, come on, Hooch, that's got to be a penalty to Gryffindor. Get off your arse and referee the sodding match. Looks like little Reggie Black has his eye on the snitch again.
Mr. Lupin.
McGonagall snapped again.
I shall take the microphone away.
Be my guest,
He offered, grinning at her. She shook her head, tutting. Remus returned to the game.
So we're now, what is it? Oh, right, 60-20 to Gryffindor. Just goes to show that cheating isn't going to pay off. I hope you're listening, Black. I mean the younger Black, obviously.
Remus,
Peter hissed behind him.
calm down. You're supposed to be giving a balanced, "Oh, Merlin."
Buggering Christ, that was close,
Remus yelled, as Regulus and the Gryffindor Seeker both reached for the snitch at the same time, only for it to dart tantalizingly out of reach, sending both players careering into the stands, Regulus pulling up just a bit quicker than the Gryffindor Seeker, but both of them miraculously staying on their brooms.
Remus,
Peter whispered again.
Slytherin just scored.
They what? Shit, sorry folks. Slytherin scored again. Must have missed that one.
Remus apologized to the baying crowd, half of them laughing, the other half now booing him.
Won't happen again.
He assured them cheerily.
Right. Potter back in pursuit of the quaffle. Dodges a bludger from Avery there. Jesus, this game is violent. Black, the good one, catches up with the bludger and aims it at... Yes, Regulus Black once again has to dodge. Lucky he's so used to weaseling his way out of trouble, eh?
Detention, Lupin.
McGonagall was muttering.
You'll be in detention for the rest of your school career.
Fuck me.
Remus yelled into the microphone as Sirius and Marlene both fired bludgers at the Slytherin beater tailing Regulus, forcing her to swoop so low she almost hit the ground.
Completely mental.
Remus gaped.
I seriously have no idea why anyone plays this. But fair play. It's distracted Regulus enough to... Wait. Yes. Y-E-S. Bloody yes. That's Gryffindor with the snitch. We bloody won. Oh my god. Thank fuck for that. I really...
That's enough.
McGonagall snatched the microphone from him finally. He grinned at her again, too elated with the victory to care much about getting in trouble. Peter was jumping up and down behind him too, which didn't help.
Sorry.
He started.
I am absolutely shocked.
McGonagall said sternly.
I expect this kind of behaviour from Black, but I don't expect it from a former prefect. I expect a letter of apology to the Slytherin team and to Madam Hooch.
Yes, Professor.
Remus hung his head and tried to look sorry, but he couldn't help his lips twitching a bit. He couldn't wait to see Sirius. He'd run all the way to the changing rooms if his hip and inhibitions would let him. Fortunately, if there was anything McGonagall loved better than enforcing school rules, it was Gryffindor winning at Quidditch.
After the celebrations have finished, of course,
she said.
Thanks, Professor.
Remus looked up, beaming again.
Honestly,
she laughed, shaking her head.
You've never reminded me more of Lyle.
Compliment or insult, Remus didn't care. For once, even a mention of his father couldn't touch Remus's good mood.